What is going on today, boys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we have more things to do on the Civic. Nothing new, however. We are fixing, or not fixing, I guess we're more so finishing what we started 2 videos ago. If you haven't seen that video, watch it up here. It's wiring the reverse light switch on our 1994 EG hatch. This car was auto to manual swapped and none of the wiring was done. The physical parts were put in place, wiring not done. So we wired the reverse lights, but we did it with butt connectors. And as far as I'm concerned, wires running from the engine bay into the car through the firewall should be soldered. I don't want to be chasing wires, pulling them in and out of loom, trying to figure out which butt connector fell off. So last video, we talked about cheap eBay turbos, cheap Chinese eBay turbos. And today we have a cheap Chinese eBay soldering iron to try and solder this up. Now, I haven't soldered in years, probably 6 or 7 years. And most of the soldering I've done is filled up little bullet connectors with solder, shove wires into them, let them cool off to add connectors to certain things like LiPo batteries and things like that. Never really soldered wires together. We're gonna see how it goes today. We're gonna see how this $20 Chinese soldering iron kit does. Before I get too invested in this, I'm gonna set up some wires on the table and give it a test run because, well, I mean, I don't wanna screw this up. But today we're soldering some wires with a cheap Chinese eBay soldering iron. We're really going on a tangent of cheap Chinese stuff from eBay. So let's keep that vibe up and let's see if we can get these wires soldered. Another thing, once the wires are soldered, the engine bay will be good to put back together, but our blow-off valve cold side charge pipe has crap in it that you would have seen if you watched last week's video. So I kind of want to try and get a rag in there, kind of scrape out as much as I can so I can put this engine bay back together. First and foremost though, these wires, they need to get soldered, they need to get put in the loom, and yeah, let's try this. First and foremost, let's check out what we get in a $20 soldering iron kit, because I feel like what you get for the 20 bucks isn't the worst. Let's get this thing open here, and here we have it. Okay, so this is the wire that came with the kit. I'm not going to use that. This is rosin paste flux, not going to lie. I don't even know what that does. I think you put the tip of the iron in it first. This is the wire I bought. It's rosin core 6040. Everything's pretty much lead free nowadays. So this is the one we're going to be using. Might use this if I can figure out what it does, but we're not using this. Here we have the iron. It's just a little handheld iron. I've seen reviews that these plastic threads strip out after a couple heat cycles, so we're here to test that. You get some tweezers, you got a desoldering little pump here. You got a pathetic excuse for a tiny little sponge and holder for it. I think this is like a wire cutter, and you have some different tips, but this is our $20 cheap Chinese eBay soldering kit that's gonna make these wires hopefully not pull apart like they would with butt connectors. Whether they pull apart now or eventually, it's the end game with butt connectors. They're just not a permanent solution. I said this when I wired it initially. Butt connectors, this is to test to see if this even works. It does. Time to solder, loom, and put my engine bay back together. Okay, boys, you know me, I had to do a trial run, right? Okay, here's the soldering station. We got the iron, I put a different tip on it. I didn't use this paste, but I used the wire in the iron. Do I know what I'm doing? Psh, not a clue. But check that rig out. Hold on. Dude, that is solid, man. Freaking solid. Put my leg here, pull on it. Dude, we are freaking dialed, baby. Let's start doing it on the car. Good Lord. Here we go. First things first, battery's already disconnected. I'm gonna take this clip, I'm gonna unclip it. Now I'm gonna try and disconnect these butt connectors without cutting more of the wire because, well, I need that length of the wire. And then we are going to try and solder these together. Oh boy. All right, boys, here we go. First joint. Going in. There we go, boys. First joint. Golly! And there we have it, boys. First solder joint on the actual car harness. Oh my God. Little stressful, but at the end of the day, we got that shit. Round 2, this one right here. Green is done, we're on to yellow. God damn. All right, boys, second solder joint done. Now that both of them are soldered up, I've gone ahead, connected it. I'm gonna go ahead, connect the battery here, and we're gonna make sure the reverse lights still turn on to rule out the fact that these are good, and then we can move on to the interior. So let's grab the keys, let's put this thing in reverse, and let's see what we got here. Perfect. As you can see from the reflection on the wall back there, let me take it out of reverse. Goes away, goes on. Connection up there, brilliant. Now let's come in here and deal with these. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's just go ahead, disconnect it one more time. Okay. Oh, disconnect the battery first. Working with wires and solder and all the good stuff. Let's disconnect that. And if you guys don't remember from the video of the connectors, I had already run heat shrink. Let's put that over there. Bring the yellow one, put it over. Good to go. Let's go ahead, heat this up, keep it moving, prevent the burns. Oh, my fan is putting my flame out, bro. All right, that looks good. Time for old yeller. Very nice. Get it on this side. Did burn it just a tad, but what do? Now that they're heat shrinked and soldered, we can move on to the inside. Not gonna lie, this was a little bit stressful. I've never soldered like this before. It's always been kind of a fill, but never a joint, if you will. But either way, we caught the dub. Both of them are connected. Reverse lights still work. Let's move on over into the inside, which is gonna be the trickiest because there's no light up there. So I might just have to crush it out, show you guys the work, and then we can finally put my engine bay back together and take these blue shop towels out of the intake manifold and whatnot. But we still do have to clean out this charge pipe from the debris that's in there. But let's go ahead, plug this in, solidify it, move on to the interior. Okay, boys, so this is what we're working with here. Took me a lot of effort to get this set up in here to be able to film it, but we have our green, we have our yellow. I want to try and pull them back through the loom so they come out back here, so I can kind of solder them back here just out of the loom, and then from there it won't have to be tucked in with all these wires getting crushed and all that. I think that's going to be a lot more viable solution. So really quickly, I'm just going to try and back these out through the loom and kind of try and get them through the back here. So give that a shot and we'll get right back with you. Holy shit. One down, boys. I know it's really hard for you guys to see, but at least you're here with me. We've got one done. We've got one to go. With these ones inside the car, I'm wrapping the wire around itself rather than fanning it out and shoving them in. I'm just kind of experimenting. I don't really know what I like better or not yet. I'm learning. Let's give her another go. Okay, I think that one is good as well. I'm gonna let it cool down. We're gonna do the tug test, heat shrink, and then solidify this ordeal. Get my interior back together, engine bay back together, should be alright. Alright guys, let's take a peek at the work. I don't know about you, I can't pull it any closer and I also can't get the camera any closer, but nice and tight, everything works, soldered up. I got my heat shrink, so let's go ahead, pull these down, heat them up, and then we can, whoa, I just about literally fell out of the car there, boys, goddamn. And then we can go ahead and clean up this mess that I like to call my interior right now because of the wiring not being finished. Now that it's finished, we can put the interior back together, move up to the engine bay, clean up my charge pipe that's over there, and reinstall it. Well boys, there you freaking have it. Does our $20 Chinese eBay soldering iron work? Hell yeah it does. 2 wires in the bay, soldered. 2 wires under the dash, soldered. Reverse lights still turn on, everything's heat shrinked. The one thing we have left to do is put those 2 wires running through the bay in our existing loom through the firewall. Once that's done, quickly bolt back in the interior, clean up and bolt on the charge pipe, and the car is back to its original built state. Everything's done for now. So let's go ahead, let's get this tucked in the loom, bolt everything back together, clean up this charge pipe. We'll be all set to jet, baby. All right, boys, and would you look at that? No colorful wires anywhere. As we can see right here, we have our plug, 2 wires coming out of it, straight into the loom, straight in the firewall. Now I've got some electrical tape and zip ties. I'm gonna solidify all of this, and then it's finally time to reassemble the interior, clean the charge pipe, put it back on, finished product. Alrighty guys, and there we have it. You would never know I was even in here. Come down here, we have our reverse light switch, yellow and green going out of it, straight into the loom with all the other wires. Both my accessory looms running all the way up through the firewall, taped up, zap strapped up, come under here, and boom, a little bit of excess. I'm gonna go ahead and take some zip ties, zip tie all these up and out of the way best as possible, tuck the carpet back in, go ahead and solidify and screw in the center console, 2 pieces right here. Once that's done, steering wheel back on, charge pipe on, we're done ski. Alright guys, wiring is taken care of. Thank goodness that is over, as well as our interior is all put back together. There we have it. No more weird looking interior with a bunch of stuff ripped apart. It is fresh and good to go. Yes, I know it's flickering. This light just makes the camera flicker really bad, but all good to go. Let's go over here, try our best to clean out this charge pipe so we can get it back installed with the blow off valve, and then the engine bay is good to go. All right guys, so basically gonna get a cloth stuffed in here and just try and run it through and get it to the blow off valve spot. I don't really have anything bendy that can like go in here and contour to it, so we're just gonna see what we can do. Oh, lots of fun just came out of there. Wow. Is it really that bad? Maybe I'll just try and blow on it. Huh. I mean, it got it a little bit cleaner. I'm gonna keep working on this and see how good we can get it before we reinstall this bad unit.
2,000 years later.
Okay boys, good and bad news. I've kind of just come to terms with it. Like, this cheap Chinese shit is just point blank simple shit. It's just freaking garbage. No matter how many times I try and blow it out or shove the rag in there, I've probably been doing this for a solid 15-20 minutes now. Fresh rag in, pull it out, more metal shavings. Cover up all the ports, tape them, you know, cup it at the top, blow through it, more metal shaving comes out. Another rag, more metal shavings. Wet rag out, more metal shavings. Dry rag, more metal shavings. It is just literally won't stop. This shit is garbage, and I'm hoping that it didn't hurt my engine from all the time that it's already been on there, but this shit is trash, and I think we're going back to NA anyways. So for now, I'm gonna leave this off the car. If I would have just paid a little bit more attention and seen how dirty this was, I would have never ran the car with it like this, because the fact that we drove it all year and now it's off and we're still taking metal out of it, like maybe there's like a attachment I can put on the drill, like a gutter cleaner or something like that that's flexible, that has like a bristle swivel thing on the end of it, that I can kind of run it back and forth a bunch of times and it can go the full length of this to really try and clear it out. But at the end of the day, I want to do a different blow-off valve if we stay turbo anyways, because this cheap HKS one just creates a boost leak and isn't really good for much. And so to like try and cut this weld off and then have this section that's already cut out be perfect, or you know, maybe it's even too big for the new section, for the new blow-off valve that's going to have to get welded on, it's just not really worth it. And like intercooler piping, like this is such cheap Chinese garbage. Like intercooler piping is not that expensive, so I might just get like a different universal kit, brand name kit, and get my fabricator to make it work if we stay boosted. But honestly, with all this stuff, like I keep pulling stuff out of here. I'm like, when is it gonna stop? Rag after rag, blow after blow. Like it just, there's just so much shit in this pipe, man. And I'm honestly really pissed off that I ran my car with it like this. It's probably in my best interest to drain the oil and flush it out, because it sucks. There's fresh Motul in there that probably doesn't even have a few thousand kilometers on it yet. And here we are. But for now, I'm gonna leave this pipe off. But the soldering went well, it's tucked in the loom, the interior is back together. That was the main thing for today. I'm pretty pissed off about this shitty intercooler piping with all this shrapnel inside of it. But I mean, like, what do you do, man? I've been sitting here for 15 minutes trying to clean it out by hand and it just keeps coming. So forget this. Anyways, guys, go ahead, comment, like, subscribe. This is Vlogmas Day 2 soldering. The first one was cheap Chinese eBay turbo, and now this one is cheap Chinese soldering iron, and here we are. It worked. The wires are connected, reverse lights still work, interiors put back together, wires in the loom. We're good to go, boys. As far as this intercooler pipe, this is a journey for another day. But until I see you guys next time, comment, like, subscribe, and peace out.